welcome back, everybody. If you're joining us midstream, my name is Jason Watson with WCG. I'm one of the partners here. Introductions.
Jason Schneider, managing partner at WCG.
I'm Megan Oeltjenbruns, tax manager at WCG.
Awesome. In our previous segments, we kind of talked about how to find success, how to create your own success at WCG. We talked about some of our challenges and systemic to the industry, maybe some of the ones we've created on our own and some other issues. We've also, I think, discussed being inserted into leadership roles, which you two have done. In this segment, I kind of want to discuss the culture at WCG. Everyone, I think a lot of folks, when they look for a different work family, they want to know what the culture is, right? It's a big deal. Can I sit down with these individuals for 8 hours a day, every day, and feel I belong, and all those things that you want to do and grow. So, Jason, you've worked for 2 other firms, 3 other firms?
2 other in my own.
Okay, 2 others in your own, and you've worked for 2 others. So we have some good perspective. Mm-hmm. We've also heard some stories as well. So describe the culture as you see it at WCG.
Energetic. That's one word. I can come into the office and look down at my clock and just be not like shocked, but purely in dismay that it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it just
somewhat
disappears.
to yeah. Sometimes to your dismay, 'cause you're like, yeah, I still got some things to do.
Absolutely, and it's fun. It's energetic and it's fun.
Yep.
That's how I can describe it.
Yep.
The time does fly.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'd say, it's so trite, but like work hard, play hard,
yeah.
Right? I mean, we kill it when there's killing to be done, but when there's not, we don't. So, yeah, I know.
I always chuckle about Europe, and other countries that have that fiscal year that's a little bit off, where it ends like at the end of March, and then their tax season is basically summertime. Oh, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I always wonder how people do this in like Arizona when that's the only nice place or the only nice time of year to be outside.
Select all extend. We'll see you. We'll see you when it's too hot to golf.
Right.
So relative to other firms, because you've been at a couple firms, how's WCG from a culture, from a social aspect?
We're definitely, I think we're younger than a lot of, just demographically, we skew a little younger, which there's not really a value judgment there, I guess, but that's just sort of what we look like. And then, I'd say the biggest thing is probably how our structure is so flat. We don't have, we do have a hierarchy, of course. There's leadership and staff and whatever, but everybody can go to anybody at any time to discuss things. And we try to facilitate those relationships amongst all levels of staff, because I think that builds, we've talked about how we are competitive, we are ambitious, but it should be fun competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's team-based. Mm-hmm. And so I think we try really hard to do things to, foster that.
Yeah, I agree. I just did a 14-day review of one of our new hires, and she said, everyone here is so helpful.
That's awesome.
That was the first thing she said, to use those words. Everyone here is so helpful. And sometimes you're like, well, yeah. That's... Mm-hmm. It's
not as common.
It's like saying you don't lie or cheat. I kind of expected that. I kind of assumed as much. I kind of assumed that people would be always helpful.
Right.
And that's probably the second time I've heard that during a 14-day review from our new hires in the last probably year and a half. I've heard that twice, which I think is a lot, honestly. Mm-hmm. That's so top of mind for them to say everyone here is so helpful.
I'd say one other thing too is we are not a grumpy firm, and we don't put up with grumpy people, right? Have you ever worked for grumpy partners? So every time you heard them coming down the hallway, you're like, oh no, I hope it's not me, and
Pick up the phone and pretend.
yeah. But I mean, we just don't do that here. We don't, we don't lose our stress on staff. We don't we take a lot of pride, I think, in maintaining that professionalism, even when we are deep into March and things kind of suck. We are all sucking it up together as opposed to fighting amongst ourselves. Yes, exactly.
Nothing like sending a Teams message at like 10:30 saying, hey, what do you think about this? And then it like dings and it's your response. It's like, whoa, all right.
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
Not just you. Let's just get this one done.
Yeah, no, all that stuff's great. We do have to, it's kind of like we take our work seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. That's maybe a way of describing it in some ways. Tina, if she was here, Tina Watson, if she was here, she'd be like, but don't confuse us with Google, right? We can't print money and have ping pong tables and kegs and nap time and all that stuff. I would love to be able to do that. We still have a job to do, and we hit that head on. But then when it's time to play, we hit that head on as well. Coming from other firms, what do you think?
Let's talk about, because I think it's part of our culture and our environment, but let's talk about our technology. Man, there is a wealth of technology. Anything at WCG from a technology standpoint that you need to succeed or do your position is absolutely available. And coming from other firms, including having my own, that was not that was not always on the scorecard.
Yep.
Right? That just doesn't always exist. Sometimes it's hand-me-downs, it's monitors that don't work, you're crinking your neck, or you're just trying to make it work to do the job. And that does not exist here. And that's part of our culture, that's part of our environment, because we're doing a podcast right now, we do all hands, we do meetings, we use that to our absolute advantage.
Yeah.
Well, and it's part of holding together the culture too, right? We have multiple offices. We have fully remote employees. How do you keep everybody connected? How do you stay on the same page?
Yeah,
and the
we all work from home a couple days a week.
Everybody has remote work. Almost everybody, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and we have similar setups at home.
Yep.
I think my monitors at home are better than my ones upstairs.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. We are slowly. It is June 2021. If you're listening to this much later, hopefully it'll all be done by then. But we are slowly cycling out all the 24-inch monitors to go with 27-inch monitors, and it might not seem like that big of a deal. But didn't Beth come down to your basement office and go, "Holy cow, she's getting a suntan"?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you swapped out all your monitors.
My husband calls it Space Command.
Yeah. Beth called it the command center.
Yep.
And I was like, it is the command center.
I
but
love
you know
it.
what?
It's so nice.
You need that in our environment.
Yeah.
You need that technology.
Absolutely. We are constantly trying to get the better stuff, the equipment. And a couple of little things I want to touch on that are kind of minute, but they're kind of a big deal when you listen to others describe their working environment, is we all have stand-up desks. I know that's pretty common now, but we've been doing that for like a long, long time, way before I think it was that normal. And they're not the cheesy Veridesk ones. It's a full-on articulating desk. Little things like that. People are just amazed when they come in, like, I have a stand-up desk and it moves, and we're all like, well, yeah, it's been there for a while, so that's kind of neat. And then one of the other little things too is I look at even text messaging, right? We've been texting the client with canned text, and we can also type in our own from some software, and it comes back and all that for 5 years. I can't think of too many CPA firms still that don't, and we did that ourselves. I got together with a web developer and we created our own system to be able to do canned text messages. Hey, your return is out there in the portal for you to review. Here's how you go go look at it, and that's a text message, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool, and that's a tiny little thing that we all tend to gloss over, but those are the kind of things that WCG is constantly trying to do, is just how do we do a better job tomorrow. And not necessarily that we're trying to compete with the firm down the street. I just want to continuously do a better job internally.
I think there's a lot of ways in which we're not trying to compete with the firm down the street. I mean, we very much, I think, talk a lot, about what do we want to look like? And we're building it from scratch. I mean, we're not looking at them and saying, gosh, I wish we were just like those guys. It's very much like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do I want to do? That's what we're building. It's not, I don't know.
We're not even taking them into consideration.
No,
When is the last time that we have ever sat down and said, well, what's our competitors doing? That just doesn't even exist.
Well, I got a great story for you two and for the listeners and the viewers. I think it's a great story. But Rachel Weber, senior tax manager at WCG, she was charged with the task at her old firm to redo their website. So what do? You type in CPA firm websites, and she stumbled on our website, called us up, moved from New York a year later. So talk about not wanting to be the firm down the street. She started snooping around at, let's say, other
firms down the street,
and said, I want what they got, what they have going on. That's pretty. I think it's a pretty cool story for someone to be like snooping around to maybe look for ideas on how to build out their website. And they're like, I'll just take out the middle move. Yeah, it's way easier.
She's a great example of the kind of person that we really kind of are looking for, right? A senior who has topped out at some level, is bored doing what they're doing, and is looking for more advancement, right? I mean, she has all the things to make her successful, and she spotted the opportunity and made the jump.
Let's touch a little bit on career development, professional development. I think we as humans have an appetite for, we want a bigger house, we want a faster car, we want all these things, and at some point you are satisfied. You know what I mean? But for a lot of folks who are maybe a little younger, they're in their 30s, maybe early 40s, whatever it is, they're still have that appetite for that growth and development. Can you touch on some of the career development here at WCG, or how you see that?
I'll go back to a comment that Megan made earlier, sky's the limit, kind of. I don't know if that was your exact comment, but that's sky's the limit.
Yeah,
right.
And we hate to say that because everyone says that.
I don't.
But I truly believe it.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
I should say you hear that phrase often, right? But I don't think it's always true. No. But I really believe it's true here.
Yeah, that's why I like saying it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's true. We have and create such a wonderful environment, I believe, and I take it personally if anyone says otherwise, right?
Because I agree.
To just be so fruitful in your craft and your profession. And having that to help foster your motivation and where you want to go is just, it's not, you can't compare it. You cannot compare it to anywhere else. And so that's what I would say, career development. You need to find somewhere that allows you to foster and thrive and motivate and move you in the direction with all the tools necessary. And that's what we have here, and that's what we're trying to show the community and others looking within the CPA firm realm of, trying to either enter or further their career development in a CPA firm. I mean, that's what we have, and that's what we're trying to showcase.
Mm-hmm. Megan, you have said in the past a couple times how accessible or maybe how involved the leadership is here. I'm employee number 2, right? Tina's number 1.
Yeah,
I was her admin, for a while. Our entire firm, like I said before, fit into a milk crate on our dining room table, and here we are today, a $6 million firm and growing and doing all the right things. So again, how involved is leadership? How accessible is leadership as you see it?
Very, I
Don't
think.
lie
Yeah.
just because.
No, I mean,
Just because we're on
You're
camera.
surrounded.
what's interesting is I think it's all in. It's kind of up to me how involved and how accessible leadership is, right? Because you guys are as available as I need you to be. There, you know, if I have problems, you're there to assist. If I don't have problems, you're doing your own thing, and that's great too. Because I do feel like I have that safety net, right? You know, I'm not out here flying alone, but at the same time, I can manage my own life as far as I can manage it. And so, and then when it comes to firm decisions, when we're talking about strategy and who we're trying to grow into in the next 5 and 10 years, that's a group discussion. I mean, that's not you and Tina having that conversation, or just, you guys. That's everybody in leadership sitting down and saying, what do you want? What do you want? You know, so you feel very much in control of what the firm might turn out to be here as it grows.
And that's very intentional, at least as I see it. I'm 50 years old. Again, it's 49, turning 50, but it's June 2021, in case this is in some sort of time capsule and someone's listening to it 20 years from now. But, I don't want this to be my firm. Sure, I started it, and you're one of the partners, and so is Michelle and Sally, and we're slowly starting to make this other individuals' firm, and that's been my intent all along. I want this to be its own thing. And we've talked about this before. Hey, we want to have one voice, but it doesn't have to be mine. I want it to be a collective voice. We're going to still settle on that one voice, that one look, that one whatever, but I really want this, and I think we all do, we want this to be someone else's firm 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
That is one thing. It's kind of unrelated, but when you say that, that is one thing that I also see as unique here, is that leadership does speak with one voice. We do. We maybe fight amongst ourselves, but when we go out and spread a message to staff, we are on the same page. You can't catch a partner or a manager going, yeah, I don't like it, because we do not do that.
Yeah, we can't. And the phrase that I use is we got to stand shoulder to shoulder and deliver the message. So anyway, thank you everybody for listening, and to Jason and to Megan for contributing. This is the segment on kind of the culture of our firm and all that stuff. We're going to wrap it up in the next segment and talk about the type of engagements that we want as a firm. We're in a position to kind of be selective, which is great. Where is WCG going? I'd love to see what you guys have to say about that, and what type of leaders do we need? We kind of touched on it in a little bit, but this will be a good time to wrap it all up, and that'll be in our next segment. And again, my name is Jason Watson with WCG. Thanks.